New York City, home to towering skyscrapers, bustling streets, and an endless tapestry of stories woven into its very foundation. Beneath its glittering surface lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, mystery, and the supernatural. Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the Empire State, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy explanation. In this 7th episode of Most Haunted Places in New York, we delve deeper into the shadows cast by ghostly legends, uncovering tales so spine-tingling they'll leave you questioning the boundaries between the living and the dead. From abandoned asylums to centuries-old theaters, New York is a treasure trove of spectral stories rooted in betrayal, ambition, and unrelenting sorrow. Each location holds its own dark secrets, whispered through creaking floorboards, flickering lights, and disembodied voices that drift through empty halls. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these destinations promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted locales across New York, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of haunted hotels, explore eerie mansions cloaked in mystery, and tread cautiously through abandoned institutions teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of New York, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Chelsea Hotel, a ghostly grandeur in Manhattan nestled in the heart of Manhattan, the Chelsea Hotel stands as a monument to both artistic brilliance and despair, a grand Gothic masterpiece whose opulent facade conceals decades of tragedy and supernatural activity. Opened in 1884 during the height of New York's cultural renaissance, the hotel quickly became a retreat for artists, writers, musicians, and socialites seeking inspiration amidst the city's chaos. With its sweeping staircases, ornate woodwork, and panoramic views of the surrounding skyline, the Chelsea Hotel epitomized elegance and sophistication. Yet beneath its polished exterior lay a darker narrative, one marked by scandal, violence, and untimely deaths. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Chelsea Hotel revolves around Room 100, said to be haunted by the spirit of a jilted lover named Sarah. According to local lore, Sarah checked into the hotel in the 1920s under the pretense of meeting her fiancé, only to discover he had abandoned her for another woman. Overcome with grief, she took her own life in the room, leaving behind a legacy of sorrow that continues to haunt visitors today. Guests staying in Room 100 frequently report strange occurrences, lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of roses lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets tangled impossibly tight around their limbs, as if restrained by invisible hands. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is believed to be none other than Dylan Thomas, the legendary Welsh poet who famously stayed at the Chelsea Hotel during his final days. Thomas reportedly collapsed in room 206 after consuming 18 whiskeys at the White Horse Tavern, leading to his untimely death. Paranormal investigators exploring the property have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "I'm sorry," and "It's too late." Witnesses described seeing a disheveled man in a tweed jacket pacing anxiously near windows, clutching what appears to be a notebook before vanishing without a trace. The hotel's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has become a focal point of paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area often describe hearing chains rattling and heavy footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Some claim to see shadowy figures dragging invisible loads, their movements jerky and unnatural. A particularly chilling account comes from a maintenance worker who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the darkness before releasing him abruptly. Overnight visitors to the Chelsea Hotel frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in hallways leading to the older sections of the building. Doors slammed shut on their own, and the scent of cigar smoke wafts through the air despite the hotel's strict no-smoking policy. One guest described waking up to find his reflection in the mirror staring back at him, but not quite matching his movements, as if another entity stood behind him, mimicking his actions. Another recounted seeing a man in a dusty miner's outfit standing at the foot of her bed, his hollow eyes boring into hers before vanishing without a sound. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Chelsea Hotel remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to book a stay, the possibility of encountering Sarah, Dylan, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor crosses its threshold, they must decide whether they are ready to face the darkness that lingers within these walls, or will they become another chapter in the hotel's tragic tale. The Amityville Horror House, shadows of infamy perched along the quiet shores of Long Island. The Amityville Horror House stands as a grim reminder of one of America's most infamous alleged hauntings. A modest Dutch colonial-style home that became synonymous with terror after the events of November 13, 1974. On that fateful night, Ronald DeFeo Jr. murdered 6 members of his family inside the house, claiming voices told him to commit the atrocities. Just over a year later, George and Kathy Lutz moved into the property with their 3 children, hoping for a fresh start. Instead, they endured 28 harrowing days plagued by unexplained phenomena, disembodied voices, foul odors, mysterious cold spots, and violent poltergeist activity. Their account, immortalized in Jay Anson's best-selling book The Amityville Horror, transformed the house into a symbol of supernatural dread. One of the most pervasive legends tied to the Amityville Horror House centers around the Red Room, a hidden chamber discovered by the Lutz family in the basement. Painted entirely red and adorned with strange symbols etched into the walls, the room was believed to serve as a portal for demonic forces. Visitors exploring the property report hearing faint whispers emanating from the sealed-off chamber, accompanied by an oppressive sense of dread. Some claimed to see shadowy figures huddled in the corners, their faces obscured by darkness, while others described feeling an icy draft pass through them as they approached the door. Another haunting figure associated with the house is believed to be John Matthew Brady, a former resident who died mysteriously in the early 1900s. Locals whisper that Brady made a pact with malevolent entities to protect his wealth, cursing the land upon which the house now stands. Witnesses recount sightings of a gaunt man clad in Victorian-era attire, pacing anxiously near the front porch or sitting alone in the attic. His presence is often accompanied by the faint clinking of coins and the smell of sulfur, as though he's guarding something long buried. Some speculate that Brady lingers due to unfinished business, unable to part ways with the treasures he sacrificed everything to protect. The house's backyard, once a serene garden, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Visitors walking through the overgrown grass often feel an inexplicable sense of danger, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling out in languages unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the incantations spoken by those who summoned dark forces to the property. Others report seeing apparitions of men and women in tattered clothing, their faces gaunt and weary, working tirelessly even in death. Paranormal investigators exploring the Amityville Horror House have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the staircase and the basement. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing in the doorway of the Red Room, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the house's reputation as one of New York's most active haunted sites. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, the Amityville Horror House continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the horrors committed within its walls. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, the Amityville Horror House offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. The Belasco Theater whispers behind the curtain. Nestled in the heart of New York City's theater district, the Belasco Theater stands as a beacon of artistic achievement and supernatural intrigue. Built in 1907 by impresario David Belasco, the theater quickly became renowned for its groundbreaking productions and innovative stagecraft. With its lavish interiors, gilded balconies, and state-of-the-art lighting systems, the Belasco epitomized theatrical excellence. Yet beneath its polished veneer lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, obsession, and the lingering presence of those who refuse to leave the spotlight. One of the most iconic hauntings tied to the Belasco Theater involves its namesake, David Belasco himself. Known for his eccentric personality and relentless dedication to his craft, Belasco spent countless hours perfecting every detail of his productions. After his death in 1931, rumors began circulating that his spirit continued to haunt the theater, ensuring that performances met his exacting standards. Cast members and crew alike report seeing a portly man in a red vest and fedora roaming the backstage area, inspecting props and adjusting lighting fixtures. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as he drifts by, while others report hearing soft humming emanating from empty dressing rooms, believed to be Belasco rehearsing lines long forgotten. Another prominent figure in the theater's haunted lore is believed to be Evelyn Nesbit, a famous actress and model who performed at the Belasco during her heyday. According to local lore, Nesbit fell deeply in love with Belasco but was ultimately rejected by him, leading to a lifetime of heartache. Her ghost is said to wander the second-floor balcony, her ethereal form clad in a shimmering gown. Audience members have reported seeing a pale woman staring mournfully out of box seats, her expression frozen in eternal anguish. Others describe hearing faint sobs carried by the wind, accompanied by the rustle of silk fabric rippling against the velvet seats. The theater's basement, once used for storage and costume design, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a janitor who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the theater's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Modern-day investigations into the Belasco Theater's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the orchestra pit and the backstage wings. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original owners. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "Raise the curtain," and "Let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Belasco Theater remains a popular destination for theatergoers and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely strolls. For those brave enough to venture onto the premises after dark, the promise of encountering Belasco, Evelyn, or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the stage, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the theater's macabre legacy? Patterns across New York's haunted places, themes of tragedy and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of New York, from the opulent halls of the Chelsea Hotel to the somber grounds of the Amityville Horror House. Striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of sanatoriums to the shadowed basements of courtrooms, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted places captivate us? What is it about haunted places that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. The core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, Haunted places contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight-or-flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears, the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through New York's most haunted places to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of New York's haunted places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.